Welcome to the Twisted Tripped Out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning Express version. Only going to be on for an hour because I still have a lot to do around here and getting everything situated. We'll be back to a full show tomorrow. But man, I'm going to just launch in and get this started. And I am going to welcome someone very, very special to me. He's been talking college basketball with me for about 4 years now, and we got a lot to catch up on. He was one of the first people that sent me a very caring message when I got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He's always stuck with me. This coming season, the next season, I'm going to have him on each and every week because I'm going to get everything together. Please help me welcome from the Buckeye Cable Sports Network and from ESPN Baseball, Mr. Scoop Miller, and he joins me right now. What's up, Scoop? How are you, my man?
Hey, fantastic, still, man. It's always great to talk with you.
Oh man, it's great to talk to you. Great to talk with you. And let's just get right into it. Tell me your thoughts, and I know you got a lot of them, on what Caitlin Clark has meant to women's college basketball.
Wow, I'm not sure you can put that to words. She is really put women's basketball on the map, with an exclamation mark. Think about that Big Ten women's tournament
Yeah,
last week up in Minneapolis. First time ever, sold out at the Target Center. Uh, I see kids walk around my hometown with Caitlin Clark jerseys on.
yeah.
When she travels to the Schottenstein Center at Ohio State University, there's people going from all parts,
Oh, yeah.
and they fill that building up to see her play. So she really has been incredible. With the spotlight on her, she just continues to deliver and deliver. And just the numbers she has put up obviously speak for themselves, but just a phenomenal player, but really a shot in the arm for women's basketball.
I had a chance to cover that game when she came to the Schottenstein Center and played Ohio State, and Ohio State beat him in overtime. Man, I tell you what, 18,000 plus filled up the Schottenstein Center for a women's college basketball game. And you and I have both talked about this before, the stigma of women's college basketball and women's sports in general, not getting enough of fair play. And then someone like Caitlin Clark comes along, or if you go back in the day, someone like Cynthia Cooper or Cheryl Miller or Cheryl Swoops comes along. But the effect of Caitlin Clark is very real. And as you mentioned, the Target Center was sold out for the entire women's tournament in the Big Ten, and it didn't hurt that Nebraska and Iowa gave us one hell of a championship game.
Oh, that really was. That took a few extra minutes to determine the champ, but what can you say about Iowa? They just have had their way in that tournament the last few years, and we've touched upon it. The fact that that thing was sold out each and every day, that's never happened.
Never.
And now you're really seeing the women's college basketball game picking up a lot of steam. And I think this upcoming women's tournament is also going to be a big, big draw across the nation.
We're going to have live coverage of the women's college basketball selection show here on the Snowman Multimedia YouTube channel and the Snowman Multimedia Radio Network. And also, we're going to do some alternative play by play for the women's college basketball tournament as we take you all the way to the first weekend in April and determine the champion as the road to Cleveland begins for women's college basketball. And it's not just Caitlin Clark; it's just so many fans now because of Caitlin Clark that are picking up the women's game, and now you have that effect with women of all ages coming out. But the noise in the Target Center, especially this past Sunday, when top seed Ohio State went down. Fifth seed Nebraska challenges Iowa to stop their run of Big Ten titles, and we're just looking at how competitive the Big Ten tournament was. It's only a precursor to the NCAA women's basketball tournament because an upset could happen at any time, as you well know. You and I have covered women's basketball for a long time. An upset can happen at any time, but now, for the first time in a while, there is clearly a face to women's college basketball, and her name is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you go back to that Big Ten women's tournament, Snowman, look at that final eight. Three of the top higher seeds in that Elite Eight there of the Big Ten women's tournament, got beat. Ohio State dropped one to Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State fell to Nebraska. And, of course, Indiana was taken out by Michigan. So as good as those teams were throughout the season, earning those double buys, they were quick exits. And, Iowa met the challenge there in Nebraska. Remember, Nebraska came in, they did not get a double bye. They were the 5 seed, but they got all the way to that championship game and obviously had their chances there to get it done. But Iowa, as they seem to do with Caitlin Clark, just found a way to get it done in crunch time, and they get consecutive Big Ten titles.
3 consecutive Big Ten titles.
Yeah.
And does this make – I know this is a silly question, but they are going to be a number 1 seed, are they not? Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think there's no question about it. I really look at them as being a 2 seed. Actually, I just how can you not? I think they've got a 6-game winning streak going. They're really playing their best ball, and even their losses have really been quality losses. And then, but you're just obviously South Carolina, what they've done, they're going to earn that 1 seed. I look for South Carolina, Iowa to be those top seeds, and then it gets a little dicier there looking at the other 2 top seeds. But I look for USC and possibly Texas to garner those first seeds.
How about Texas and the way they played the back end of the season, roaring through the Big 12? Because for the first part of the year, we didn't know which Texas team we were going to see, but they have really put it together. And as you said, Scoop, they're on their way to pick up that one of those number 1 seeds in the tournament.
Yeah, I think there's no question about it. As you kind of hit the nail on the head, they're playing their best basketball, I think, at the right time. They're really picking up some steam there, and they've had a lot of quality wins. They've had a lot of quad 1 wins as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a team I don't think anybody wants to see in their bracket.
Yeah.
Come March Madness next week.
No, they don't. They don't want to see the Texas Longhorns. So your 4 number 1s match my 4 number 1s: USC, Iowa, Texas, and of course South Carolina, which who is still undefeated. How about Juju Watkins at USC? On the tail already of Caitlin Clark, but you gotta show some love for Juju Watkins and the Trojans.
Well, you really do. I mean, they're on a 5-game winning streak right now as well. 26 wins on the season, and they were very good away from home. That's the one thing I always try to look at, Snowman. Teams that can win on the road. In college basketball nowadays, that's not a given.
Right.
But, they were 7-3 on the road this year, and again, that conference is perhaps the toughest conference. You look at the ranked teams in there in Stanford, USC, UCLA, Oregon State, Colorado. I mean, there's just some quality teams. Utah was a top 20 team, so the list goes on and on. So they're definitely battle tested.
And the great thing about USC winning that Pac-12 tournament, they took down top-seeded Stanford, who was cruising on their way to a possible number 1 seed, but then USC intercepted those plans, and they played a damn near flawless basketball game.
Well, they really did. You take out Stanford by 13 points, that's really saying something because, Stanford has been the gold level in women's college basketball for how long? It's just amazing what they, I should say Tara Vanderveer, what she's done in her 38 seasons with the Cardinal.
Right.
I mean, she has an all-time winning percentage higher than Johnny Wooden, not to mention 3 national championships, 14 Final Fours. So, she's kind of that gold standard. So I think that was a big statement win to take them out in that championship game by 13 to win the Pac-12.
Where do you see Paige Beckers in Connecticut landing?
Well, they're another team that's really playing well right now. I hate to say it, but how can UConn be off the radar?
Right.
They really have not been on the radar, but they're I think they're going to be a 3 seed is my guess, but there's a team that again is playing their best basketball at the right time, and of course, what can you say about Gino and what he's able to do just incredible with
Yeah.
11 national titles, 88% winning percentage throughout his career, and just again just phenomenal what they've been able to do. But I look at the Huskies, and they've got a 9-game winning streak, and
Here they come.
they ran the table in the Big East. That's saying something. There's some quality teams in there,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that they were 11-3 away from home too
Yep.
tells you how dangerous that team can be. So I look for them to be a 3 seed, but certainly no one wants to get in that bracket. I think with UConn.
No, they don't. Speaking of teams playing their best basketball, there are two of them in the state of Illinois in men's basketball that are playing at their absolute best, and they both have double byes into the men's Big Ten basketball tournament. But in 4 words, I can say to you with a big smile on my face, how about those Wildcats?
Yeah, how about those Wildcats? They've been phenomenal. Again, you look at, we just talked about it, how it's so hard to win on the road.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You think about the Big Ten men's conference, Purdue and Illinois, the only teams in the Big Ten that had a winning record
Yep.
on the road.
Yep.
And that's, you saw the parity this year in the Big Ten. There's, if you don't bring your A game, you're going to get an L, But
Mm-hmm.
Illinois, they've always been, for me, the last several years, they've been a fun team to watch. And also Snowman, and you're probably aware of this being a big Illinois guy, but, they're the big teams win this program the last 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They've won at a 70% clip. No other
Yep.
team in the Big Ten can say that. So, they've been a model of consistency under Brad Underwood in his 7 years. And, those guys, again, are always going to be a tough out.
Oh, yeah.
And I love how they're always one of the best rebounding teams in the nation. I think they're, I think they're in the top. I know they're in the top 10 as far as rebounding margin. And to me, those are the teams that got a chance of making a deep tournament run.
Yeah. And I'm looking for both. I can say this with pride. I'm looking for both Illinois and Northwestern to make a deep tournament run. Matter of fact, the top 4 seeds in the Big Ten men's tournament, as I'm looking at it right now, Purdue, Northwestern, Illinois, and surprisingly, Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a surprise that Nebraska kind of leapfrogged in there, ended up tying with Northwestern for 3rd place. But, Northwestern, there's a lot to like on that Northwestern team. I mean, that's really one of the teams I enjoy watching the best as far as Big Ten. But, they're a really good 3-point shooting team. They've got so many different 3-point shooters. You look at, Ty Berry, Ryan Langborg, Brooks Barnheiser. I've talked to you about him. I
Yeah.
really
Oh, yeah.
like watching him play. You can tell he's a coach's kid out there, and of course the main man there in Bowie. I mean, he's phenomenal.
Yeah. So much to love about this Big Ten men's tournament. We're going to have some coverage of that, and we'll take you to and through the championship game on Sunday, and we'll also take you through the men's bracket as well. That is Scoop Miller joining me to kick off this express version of Snowman in the Morning. And Scoop, I'd love for you to be along with me on the ride to Phoenix, Arizona, covering the men's tournament. Let's cover them both and take them all the way through the championship.
Yeah, why not? Might as well, right?
Yep, let's cover them both and take them all the way through the championship. Thanks a lot, my friend. I appreciate the time.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks, my man. Appreciate it.
Scoop Miller joining us here on the program to talk all things women's college basketball. I love it. I hope y'all love it too. Man, we're just getting started on this express version of Snowman in the Morning. Got a couple of notes for you, but we are going to take a break, and when we come back, a little bit of version of the whip around, and then Matt Taylor will join me momentarily. This is an express version of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We're back in a moment.